Hi everybody, and welcome to the first video of the new semester. Hope you guys had a good break and you enjoyed Christmas or whatever holiday that you do celebrate. And this semester we're going to start by talking about ratios and proportions and similar figures. So if you look here, it says a ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division, and so that's really important. It's a comparison of two different things using division. Alright, so if you look here, we have a pitcher of lemonade, and it's got 4 parts water, 2 parts lemon juice, and 1 part sugar. So in order to talk about different things, we need to make sure we know all the parts and all the whole. So currently right now, we have 4 parts water, 2 parts lemon juice, 1 part sugar. So we have total liquid is going to be 7 parts. Total liquid is 7 parts. Okay, 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7 parts. Alright, so knowing all of that, we can continue on and answer. Ratios can be written as 3 different ways. We can write it in words. So the ratio of water to lemon juice. So water is 4. And lemon juice is 2, so we say 4, and we use that word 2. Now usually when we write ratios, we do not write them in any other form besides simplest form. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your calculator, your handy dandy TID4 Plus, and you're going to divide. So 4 divided by 2, that's what this 2 means here. So you're going to go 4 divided by 2. And then you're going to push math enter if it's a decimal. If it's not a decimal, it's just going to shoot back that number 2 at you again. But really what this means is that it's really 2 to 1. That's our ratio, okay? So the more acceptable answer is to say 2 to 1. We want it to be in simplest form. Alright. We can also write ratios using a colon. It says the ratio of water to the overall liquid. So we have 4 parts water, and total liquid is 7, so we say 4 colon 7. Now, I know that's in simplest form, but if you didn't know that, you could divide 4 divided by 7, and then push math enter again, and that gets you the fraction 4 over 7, so you know that's in simplest form, and that's 4 to 7. And lastly, you could write it as a ratio of sugar to water. So sugar is going to be 1 part, and water is going to be 4, and you would write it as a fraction, so it would be 1 over 4. Okay? Alright, the next step says equivalent ratios can be found by, if I want to find something that's equal to 1/4, if I wanted to find like another ratio, all I'd have to do is multiply or divide all parts. Multiplying or dividing all parts. Okay? For example, if I needed to make 5 pitchers of lemonade for the party, how much water am I going to need? Well, I'm going to do 4 parts water times 5. Okay? So I want to make 5 pitchers, so I'm going to take my 4 parts of this water, and I'm going to multiply it by 5. So I'm going to need 20 parts of water. How much lemon juice am I going to need? Well, I'm going to go find lemon juice, and that's going to be 2 parts lemon juice, 5 times, so I'm going to need 10 parts of lemon juice. And lastly, how much sugar am I going to need? So that's 1 part sugar times 5, because I want to do it 5 times, so that's going to be 5 parts sugar. So, the last thing we need to look at is what happens if I don't know how many pitchers of lemonade I'm going to use, but I know that I can represent it by X. So it says, if I needed to make X pitchers of lemonade for a party, what is the ratio of water to lemon juice to sugar? Now, when you see the word 2, you think colon. So right now, it's 4 parts water to 2 parts lemon juice, and it's 1 part sugar. That's what we are at right now. And so in order to get 5 pitchers, I would do 4 times 5 2 times 5, and 1 times 5, right? In order to get 10 pitchers, I would do 4 times 10, 2 times 10, and 1 times 10, right? So in order to get X pitchers, I'm going to do 4 times X, 2 times X, and 1 times X. Okay? So to get the total number of pitchers of lemonade, if I don't know how many it is, the parts that I need, I'm going to multiply it by the number of pitchers I want, the total number. Okay? All right. So here on this other half sheet of paper are a few examples on ratios and simplifying ratios. Okay? So it says, in 2007, the Boston Red Sox baseball team won 96 games. Now, it's really important to kind of make sure you've highlighted or boxed or really made sure you understood exactly what each of these numbers represents when you're talking about ratios. Okay? So they won 96 games out of, and so they played 162 games. 162 games played. Notice I didn't just highlight the 162 or the 96. I highlighted what they stand for, winning the games and playing the games. It says write a ratio for the number of games won, which is going to be my yellow, to the total number of games played, which is going to be my pink. So that means I'm going to say 96 to 162. That says 9. Sorry. So 96 to 162. Okay? Now we never write this in this form. We always like to simplify it. So remember, you go to your calculator, you say 96 divided by 162, push enter, and then push math, enter, enter again, and that's going to get you your simplified fraction, which in this case is 16 over 27. Okay? And remember, we can write that 3 different ways. We can write it with a colon, we can write it with the word 2, and we can write it as a fraction, 16 over 27. Okay, so this is our final answer. Okay? Alright. Example number 2, it says, the ratio of the measures of the angles in triangle JHK, that should say triangle, is 2 to 3 to 4. Find the measures of the angles. Okay, so you're going to say that all of those angles add up to 180, right? So you say 3x, so 2x plus 3x plus 4x, because they say they're in a ratio, equals 180. And then you just solve that equation. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. 9x equals 180, so x equals 20. Now the answer to this problem is not 20 because it says find the measures of the angles. So we're going to find the measure of each angle. So the measure of angle K is 3x, which is 3 times x is 20. So that's 60 degrees. Measure of angle J is 2x, which is 2 times 20, which is 40 degrees. And the measure of angle H is 4 times x, or 4 times 20, so that's going to be 80 degrees. Okay? So that's the answer to this problem. It didn't just ask us for x, it asked us for the measure of each angle. Okay? Alright. Next example. Says in 2007 Major League Baseball season, Alex Rodriguez hit 54 home runs and was at bat 583 times. What is the ratio of home runs to the number of times he was at bat? So go ahead and solve this problem. Alright, so 54 home runs and was at bat 583 times. Notice how I highlighted the words that go with the numbers, not just the numbers. They want to know the ratio of home runs to the number of times he was at bat. Okay, so we're going to say home runs is yellow, so that's 54 to 583. And then we just have to make sure that that is in simplest form. So we say 54 divided by 583, and then we push math, enter, enter, and sure enough, it is already in simplest form, so we're good to go. Okay. Alright, number 2. The ratio of the measures of 3 angles in a triangle is 7 to 9 to 20. Find the measure of each angle in the triangle. So go ahead and solve that problem. It's just like number 2 up here. So remember, that means we have 7x plus 9x plus 20x, meaning 7 times something plus 9 times something plus 20 times the something. If it's going to be a triangle, the ratio means that I can multiply or divide every single part by that exact same number. So that's why we're putting the x here. So those 3 angles, if I add them together, I get 180. Okay, so that's going to be 16x plus 20, so 36x equals 180. And then we're going to divide, so x equals 5. Now it didn't ask us what x was, it asked us for the measure of each angle. So we're just going to have to, it doesn't tell us the letters on the triangle, so we're just going to say the first one is 7x, so 7 times 5, so the first angle is 35 degrees. Then it's going to be 9x, so that's going to be 9 times 5, so that'll be 45 degrees. And lastly, 20x, which is 20 times 5, so that's 100 degrees. So those are the measures of the angles in the triangle. Okay. Alright. Lastly, number 3, it's asking the same type of question, but this time instead of angles, it's talking about perimeter. So it's doing the same thing. Remember, it says the ratio of the sides of a triangle are 8 to 15 to 17. Okay, so if I'm talking about any triangle, I'm going to multiply all 3 of these by the exact same number if I'm going to make it bigger or smaller. So its perimeter is 480 inches. Find the length of each side. So we're going to say 8x. Now we're talking about perimeter, so we're going to add. So 8x plus 15x plus 17x equals 480. So that's how you start this one, and then you just go ahead and solve it and get the length of each side. Okay? So 8 plus 15 plus 17 is 40. So 40x equals 480. And then we're going to divide by 40, so x equals 12. That's not my answer though, because I want to know the length of each side of the triangle. Okay, so we're going to start off, the first one is 8x, which is 8 times 12. 8 times 12 is 96. The second one is 15x, so that's 15 times 12. 15 times 12 is 180. And the last one is 17x, so that's 17 times 12. 17 times 12 is 204. So the length of each side, and it says inches, so we can put inches over here. 96 inches, 180 inches, and 204 inches. Okay. Alright, so that is the first Ed puzzle of your Unit 7. The next one you're going to do is Ed puzzle proportions. So they both have the name proportions in them, but this one is the first one out of the 2. Thanks so much for watching.